think in terms of options and careers, keeping things as open as possible is probably the best advice you could have. I think the more you know, yes, it's going to help you and the better it is for you, but not many of you are really set on what you want to do. So actually keeping things as broad and open as possible is going to be the best option for you guys.
Yes, I'd love to be able to give you careers lessons.
Yes, I'd quite like to do that. I think we could have a lot of fun taking you out to businesses, getting businesses in to talk about what happens in the world of work, different businesses. The huge problem is getting students off timetable. Timetables are so tight with all the lessons you have to attend. But I would very much like to give you more input, experience of businesses coming into school to talk to you, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think the more that you guys can go into universities, you can go into businesses, then the more aware you are of what's going on, the more you'll be able to think about what it is you want to do. The more knowledge you can have, the better prepared you are for when you do leave.
Yeah, I think it's very important for young people to see the world of work, visit as many businesses as they can. Clearly you, at the moment, don't necessarily know what you're going to do in life, and to give yourselves as wide a spectrum as you can to go and visit as many different places. That's fantastic, and it's really good to see the world of work in action so that you can go and work experience and visit people, talk to people who are out working at the time.
I think that's very helpful. I think it's an imperative part of education. Because for some young people, they have an idea of what they want to do, but until they actually go and see the reality of the job, it does help them to refocus ideas and perhaps continue down that path, or in some cases decide on something different.
Oh, definitely. Yes, definitely. I think it's really useful to see what people are doing. And I think what's also really interesting is to listen to the people that work in those businesses and find out how, their pathway, why they chose that particular job, what it is that they enjoy about that particular job, what qualifications do they have and how did they get them. I think it's, and the more you can do that, the better.
Definitely, I think it's a brilliant idea if you can all get out and see the world of work and see what actually happens before you leave school. I think students have no idea what goes on in offices. I think even basic things like what do you wear, what do you call the boss? For instance, at school you call everybody Miss Fox, Mrs. Toogood. They don't know that at work you can call people by first names. It's a lot less formal, just basic things like that. But also I think if you could get out into the world of work, see different businesses, it'll give you a much better idea of whether you're an office person, whether you're a people person, whether you need a more practical job. I think it would be an enormous benefit if you could all get out and visit businesses before you make your choices and leave school.
Yeah, I think so. I think the more students that are given a voice and an opportunity to make their own choices, and I think that the aspirations, anything that can raise the aspirations and want people to study further, to fall in love with subjects, to help them to know what they're going to do later in life, I think it's fantastic. I took some students down to university yesterday, some Year 8 students, to do that very thing, to help them to pursue a career path and to open opportunities for them so they could just see the wider picture of education and business.
I think the student voice is extremely important. The project that we're doing here at Stoke High School is very important as well. It's helping develop skills, not only the skills of interviewing as we are now, but skills behind the camera, and also things that will benefit you throughout life, like confidence.
Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't have signed up to the programme if I didn't think it was really useful for the young people at Stoke. So I definitely think that the project is really useful, and yes, if we could extend it, I think it's always important to allow students to have a voice, and we are always looking for different ways that we can find out and get feedback from students, and you can't keep doing it the same way because you keep getting the same thing, so we have to continually look for more creative and new ways to actually get feedback from students. We do it all the time. We do it when we're interviewing candidates tomorrow, and we will use students, and we will use their feedback you know, when we make our decisions about who we employ, we always do it when we're employing new staff here at Stoke. We always do it when we're looking at major changes. Obviously, we recently had the uniform survey. Not only the response to that, but the comments from students were really useful. So if they were answering, yes, we want to change it, or no, we don't, it was actually the reasons were actually more useful to us. The comments that people put were more useful to us than actually what they'd answered. So I think that it's really important for students to have a voice. At the end of the day, they're the most important people in the organisation, so we have to listen to them. But I think we've got to continually look for more creative and innovative ways of getting that feedback. And this is one good way of doing it, albeit with a smaller group. You know, it would be difficult if we were doing this with the whole school. That would be difficult to manage.
I think the project will be excellent when you've left school. Anything that allows you to develop your skills earlier, when you leave school you will be entering a big wide scary world, and I think that the more skills you've developed both in communication and maybe some IT and a way of just developing your own confidence to various people, I think will be brilliant.
I think the project will help. It's given you an insight into what the media is like, how production works, and also to develop your confidence in terms of careers, what you actually want to do, where you actually want to go for your life, and what the reality of qualifications that you need to do that.
No, I don't think you are too young to choose. I think that you all have ideas about where you want to go, and I think that as a school we have a responsibility to help you to get there. I think if you have a particular passion for something or you have a particular interest in something, I think you're not too young to choose and to follow your dream, if you like.
No. I think you're never too young to start investigating what you want to do in life. Transferable skills are perhaps the most important, because as you go through life you may change your mind once or perhaps twice and perhaps several times and work in a variety of different careers, but having those options available and information is very important to that.
Yes, definitely. I think that the more that businesses and schools can talk to each other about the skills that are needed, about the opportunities that are available, I think that education and business have a real partnership to form. And I think the stronger that partnership can be, then the better for you as young people, and for us, we can teach you the skills that are necessary for when you leave.
I think more visits should be organised to help businesses and schools communicate better. I think we need to know from businesses, from a school's point of view, what they're looking for in young people, what employability skills are most important to them. We can then put it into the curriculum. We can work with young people. And I think involving the business community and it coming from the business community and not just from education has more value with young people as they appreciate what they actually need to help them through later life.
I think everybody should have an opportunity to ask in the Who Asked project. I think the more people that are asked about their own opinions and their goals and ideas, I think brilliant. I think a good school and a good partnership caters for all individual people. Everybody's different, and I think the more people that we can talk to and listen to, and the more businesses we can talk to, we can work in real partnership to help people make the best of themselves and realise their potential for when they leave school.
I think it would be very useful to roll out the Who Asked Us project on a wider scale, so it would involve more students in school. I think the skills that you are learning and will learn as you go through the project are really going to help you and support your learning in academic subjects as well.
Yes, definitely. I think you've all had a great time and I think you've learned an awful lot. One of the huge benefits I found from this project, not just the fact that you've investigated a subject that interests you, learned skills with interviewing and filming, but I have actually found that you've all got talents. And those talents, the different talents you've all got, have come to the surface. Some of you have a talent for interviewing. Some of you have actually got a talent for filming and editing and research. And I'm really impressed by the talents that have come out in this project. And I definitely think more students should have this opportunity.
I'm not sure the gap is that wide, but I think there is a gap. I think there is a gap in what we teach you at school in terms of the skills and the skills that you need in business. And I think there's an opportunity in education at the moment with the increased use of technology to narrow the gap between education and business. And I think the government in their educational policy has a responsibility. I think we at school have a responsibility, and I think businesses though have a responsibility to tell education exactly what they require.
I think it very much depends on the young people. The young people that we have here at Stoke High School, and we're quite lucky in this way, have lots of skills. So I'd say that perhaps not, but I would think in many cases where students don't have those opportunities, that might well be the case.
When you go into next year, Year 10 is the start of a 2-year GCSE course. Some BTECs, but mainly GCSE. Those qualifications are really important for you because the better qualifications you get at GCSE, the more choices you have when you move on into sixth form and then into higher and further education.
No, I wasn't nervous about my options because I was very much a language person and hopeless at sciences and those kind of things. So that was quite an easy choice for me. I just took the subjects I was good at, and I dropped the subjects I wasn't so good at.
Lights ready. Camera rolling. Action.